In crisis management, we're concerned with about a lot of things that set people off or put them into a crisis. And one of those things is what we call aversive stimuli. That is, these are stimuli, events, things that people really hate, that they want to stay away from, they want to escape from, they want to avoid them. And an aversive can be really anything. It can be putting a demand on somebody, it can be getting teased, being called a name, being hit by somebody, having somebody take one of your favorite toys, or not being able to get access to a food that you like. But any one of these things can be aversives. Now, typically with people with disabilities, one of the strategies is to just get rid of them. That is, we're not going to have those aversives anymore. Now, in the case where the aversive is extreme, and you or I would not be able to tolerate it either, that is, being screamed at by somebody, or being attacked by somebody, or being called terrible names by somebody that none of us would tolerate, then yes, it's a good idea to get rid of that aversive. Like we talk about this in the Behavior Tools class when we talk about getting rid of coercive interactions. It's just not nice to be screamed at. Nobody likes it, and that's something that individuals shouldn't have to tolerate that. But there are many aversives that you and I face on a daily basis, and we're so used to it we don't even think about it. And these aversives are typically mild to moderate. They're inconveniences. They're kind of upsetting. They're annoying. It's somebody that we don't like very much. It's having to wait in line. It's being stuck in traffic. It's not getting exactly what you wanted at the restaurant because they were out of your favorite food. Those are all aversives, but those are mild to moderate aversives, and we learn how to tolerate them. If you try to eliminate all aversives for people with disabilities, what happens is they begin to live in a special, magical environment where they can only exist in that environment because that environment is clean of any aversives whatsoever. That's not helping the person, that's actually hurting the person. It's okay to get rid of some aversives, and that's something that we should do. But when you try to get rid of every single aversive that bothers someone, all you do is you create an environment that they can never leave. And that's not really great for being integrated into the community or having a full, rich life. So one of the things that we try to teach people to do is how to handle aversives, mild to moderate ones. And the only way to teach people to handle aversives is to repeatedly, consistently, and systematically bring them into contact with those aversives in a manner that they're ready to face them. We don't just spring them upon them. As an example, you might work with a child if you're in a school setting. You might be working with a young child with autism, and when the fire alarm goes off, and fire alarms go off, they can't handle it. They go into crisis, they cover their ears, they scream, they may even hit themselves. One way we teach people to handle aversives is by modulating them at first, making them smaller, making them controllable. And one of the tricks I like to do, that I encourage teachers to do, is, for example, you make a recording of the fire alarm sound, and you do something that we call habituation. You give people a chance to hear it, relax to it, realize it's not so bad, relax in the presence of it, and maybe they even get strong reinforcement for doing the behaviors that you want them to do in the presence of that mild to moderate aversive. And we also prepare them for it when it's going to happen. And what you'll find is, if you teach people what to do when the aversive happens, that is what's most useful. Not just eliminating the aversive. The old phrase that it's better to teach a man to fish than to give a man a fish every day, it really holds, because if you give someone fish, that's the equivalent of getting rid of all the aversives for them. You're doing the work for them. If you teach someone to fish, they become self-sufficient. Similarly, if we teach children and adults with disabilities how to handle reasonable, mild to moderate aversives that are encountered by everybody in daily life, they'll be better able to navigate those social environments. And the only way you can ever do it is by carefully, gradually, systematically bringing them into contact with those aversive stimuli, but they have to be ready to face them. That is, they have to know what to do. So for the example of the child with the fire alarm, we might do some pre-teaching that we talked about in another video. Say, Billy, when the fire alarm goes off, it's a big bad noise, your headphones are right down there. As soon as you hear it, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to put my headphones on. Good job, Billy. That's exactly what you should do when you hear that. What if you don't have your headphones? What can you do? I'm going to put my hands over my ears. And then, because it's a fire alarm, what should you do to get away from the noise? I need to walk outside to the place where it's painted yellow where we're supposed to stand. That's exactly right, Billy. So in so doing, we're preparing Billy for what to do when the aversive happens, how to modulate the aversive, put his hands over his ears, and then where to go, what to do. And then we can reinforce those behaviors. But we have to let him know that it's going to happen, and he has to be exposed to it, even just a little bit, because it's going to happen again. So that's an example of teaching people how to handle mild to moderate aversives, and it's invaluable in moving someone forward in their treatment.